Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, son of Shmi Skywalker, homeworld of Tatooine. He was born 42 years before the Battle of Yavin. I'm sure you're not here. Anakin Skywalker can be found from the following locations: Cantina Battles 7G, and also on the light side, hard nodes of 5C, dark side 5B, and 7. So my stats on Anakin, I currently have him. I've gone more with a kind of like laid out, average, spread. It's kind of like mods all over, instead of just going for speed. I've seen a lot in the arena that go for speed on Anakin. I don't think particularly this is the greatest idea to put a lot of speed on Anakin. Yeah, no, by all means that he can do is AoE pretty much straight away, but you can have other characters around kind of Anakin that can then give him the turn meter, like Stormtrooper Han, for example. You know, if you can make a speedy Han, or even a Poe, you know, you could also go with Phasma. But the problem being with Phasma on defense is she does not do her advantage kind of move that gives the turn meter. So it's pretty pointless because she'll go for her AoE first on defense. So I normally use Stormtrooper Han. I give him all my speed mods, so then he can give my entire team turn meter, which is fantastic for the team I run. It may not be the best for you, but this video is just showing how I do it as a player and try and help you to give more of a understanding of the character. So what I find with Anakin, I find that he definitely needs crit damage mods. He needs critical chance. Speed, I haven't really gone for that, and I'm doing completely fine without speed. If I didn't have Stormtrooper Han in my team, then yeah, maybe I'd probably go for some speed mods, but I don't think it's necessary, and I do believe that you do lose a little bit too much other stats in other areas, where the difference would be Rey. Rey is fantastic to go first. You need Rey to go first, so you do need speed on a character like Rey. The reason behind that is so she can get a foresight, and the same with the AI on defense, she gets a foresight up straight away. The flip side of that is you've got Anakin in your team, so you're visually looking at it now, and Rey goes, she gets a foresight up because she's on the enemy team. Anakin then goes after Rey and does his AoE. Bam! Straight away he's got advantage because she's dodged that move. So the side of the flip coin of it is it's good if Rey goes first on the enemy team, even though she's going to damage your characters. At the same time, it's kind of like the silver lining. Anakin's going to get advantage, so he's going to get that, so he can do a critical, guaranteed critical hit, as long as he's lead, of course. If he's not a leader, then he's not going to be having advantage or anything like that. So the health I've put on Anakin, I haven't really gone with much health mods on him, to be honest. So I've kept him pretty much basic, and he's got 21,000. And 17. His protection is 31,557. The speed I've gone for is 162, and one of the biggest important parts of this is the critical damage. So especially when he gets an extra 75% for when an ally dies, or when an ally falls beneath 50% kind of like HP. So that's going to give him some extra kind of oomph, you know. Potency, I'm not really too worried personally about him doing buff immunity, especially when there's Palpatine around there. I'd rather put some speed mobs onto Palpatine, and also I'd rather put my kind of like resources of potency straight onto Palpatine, so he's kind of hitting this shock. So by the way, what shock does, if you're not aware of it, so when Palpatine lays a shock on a character, they're immune to any buffs, any taunts, or any turn meter gain. So that also means if you buff Anakin, he's quite actually useless. But that being in mind, maybe everyone doesn't know that, but the meta of the changing of the game is Palpatine can either go for two things. You know, you've got a team, and the best thing to lay a team out is to have where it's, I don't know who to attack scenario. Who shall I attack? If I attack Anakin first, Lando's going to attack me. If I attack Lando, Anakin's going to attack me. If I don't stun the entire team with Palp, then I'm going to have Han going off. So you want to build a team really around that foundation where your opponent, it's like a game of chess, where they sit there and look, who do I attack first? You know, you want to make it as difficult as possible for someone to beat you. You don't want to just do a generic team that everyone's got. You want to go that step further. But anyway, moving on for that's the story for another video. If you want to have some arena chats, I can make a video about arena. I can put that up. That is not a problem. Physical damage on my Anakin is 2,475. So yeah, that's okay. But the most important thing right here is his physical critical chance. I am trying to still push it for more. I want to go to 70%. And I do think that is doable. And it won't really hurt the other areas of the character. But I've gone for 61.74% so far. So he gets a lot of crits, and especially when he's a leader, he gets advantage too. So he's like a crit monster, you know, and he's got his critical damage as well. He is fantastic. I love Anakin on this game. The rework for him is fantastic. I've gone with a 30.27% armor. Just because armor is good. Less armor they've got, the weaker, the more hits. You know, Lando's special damage is going to do more damage the more armor they've got. The basics like Leia, when they did the defense armor boost, Leia doesn't hit like she used to hit. She used to be hitting for 13k crit on a basic, and now you're lucky if you could probably get 8 or 9. So the special damage he's got on here, as you can see, is 1842, and his special critical chance, which is fantastic, is 32.11%. His resistance, as you can see there, maybe they don't mean much for you. But what we're going to do now, we're going to have a look at the mods I've currently got on Anakin. So you can maybe compare it to your mods, or give you maybe a sense of direction where to go with Anakin, what you need. The first mod that I've gone with, which is the transmitter, I've gone for a critical damage mod. So to get these mod types, you do need to do your tier 3 on the Jawas. So you do need 5 Jawas. Depending on how strong your gear is, depends again to what star and what mods you put onto them, you may be able to get through that very easily. I find that I did have 3 7-star Jawas, and the other 2 were really low, and I got through that on the second attempt without any of them dying. But I've heard other kind of players have done it with less than what I had. So straight away what we've got is plus 5.88% offense. Some of the, you know, we've got the defense on here. The most important part on here that's straight to me is the 3.56 critical chance. If you can get high critical chance, or if you wanted to add speed, you know, replace maybe health, for example, if there was a mod. I find defense can be quite important for especially a tanky character like Anakin, even though that he does have kind of like a lot of kind of defense already, and he has a lot of HP and protection. I would still strongly advise to have somewhat of some defense, because it means he's going to reduce some of the incoming attacks, especially with him being a target that he is. So the next mod that we're going to look at, I went with a critical avoidance. I don't know how well this is really working in the game at the moment. It's very hard to tell. To me, and my understanding is that it should reduce 24% of the crits coming in. So when I say that, it should stop their chance. I don't believe it takes their kind of like damage off, but that is something that we can definitely look into together. It's very hard to tell, you know, some things are still bugged and broken in this game, so that it's very hard to kind of test this. But straight away, as you can see again, I've got 4.68% critical chance, which is fantastic. You know, this is what you want for Anakin. The other stats on there, like the offense, definitely you want some offense if you can get it. Health isn't important, he's got a lot of health already. If we have a look then, so for the processor, potency 2.1%, not really needed, to be honest, unless you want to make him a high potency that he's going to hit, but it's still a certain chance. So he could have 100% potency and still miss and not hit that kind of like debuff on the enemy, which would be very frustrating. So I've got 11.75 defense straight away. As you can see, I've got 6.71% critical chance, which is fantastic. Definitely what you want. If I could have higher speed and offense, that would also be awesome. So again, this is the hollow array. I've gone for a health one this time, so it's a health type. So on Anakin alone, I've got 4 critical damage mods, and I've also got 2 health. The health, not really needing. I could probably go for critical chance. I could even go for potency. You know, I could have a player around. But that is the best mod what I've got for Anakin at the moment. So he's got 10 speed. I thought, you know, I'll get 10 speed there. I've got the 1.71 critical chance, which is fantastic. Let's have a look. So the next one on that is the protection. Always go for protection. I don't know anybody that would prefer health. If there is, leave a comment below. But we've got 23.5% protection, 5 speed, and again, as you can see, my critical chance is 5.45%. Again, I've gone for protection. I believe that even as strong as Annie is, he's still a target. And I believe protection, again, you do need that if you want to keep him alive, because it's always best to keep Annie alive as long as possible. Unfortunately, I don't have any critical chance, but when I do get some critical chance on a mod like this, I will definitely be putting it on Annie. So there are my mods. So we'll just quickly go over. I'm getting an extra 30% for the mod type of 4. So that's critical damage, 30% critical damage, and I'm also getting an extra 5% health. So together, I run Anakin with Lando and Han, pretty much. They are my team. If you don't know who Lando Han is, I call them, with Anakin, Hanido. What is Hanido, you ask?
Stormtrooper Han Solo, Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, Lando Calrissian. Together, they make Jake Lloyd? I think we got the wrong picture up. Hey, he's back. Together, the three make Hanido.